Come on. Good evening, everyone. It finished. West Ham 2. Arsenal 5. Chris and I went to the game. Chris is still eating his dinner. Fuck's sake, Chris. Sort it out.
What do you mean, still eating my dinner? I've literally just got my pizza here. I wanted to have a bite. I said, Gary, don't go live yet. He goes, fucking live. Unbelievable.
Well, that's how pissed off I am. That's how pissed off I am. I won't going to wait for you. I won't going to wait for you. You either come with me or eat your pizza. You know what I mean?
I've been home for 15 minutes, mate. Give me a chance. 15 minutes.
I know. Well, that was worth it, wasn't it? Going all the way down to the London Stadium today. It was a grim experience, and it didn't start very well for me. Couldn't get into the fucking stadium, right? Which is a blessing in disguise, really. It was fate. I should have listened to fate. Took my son Adam along. He got through fine with Ross's ticket. I look in my Apple wallet, no fucking ticket, right? I've got like a ticket from last season. So I look through to see if I can find any others from this season. No, can't find them. It's gone. So I try and add the thing back into my wallet, but I can't open the email because there's no Wi-Fi or no 4G, 5G connection, right? Spoke to the fucking really helpful ticket bloke, and he said, oh, yeah, go and walk down there by the bridge and you'll get mobile reception. Did I hell, right? So walk down there, no mobile reception, come back, just happened to find in my history the Man United game, which the way it works is as long as you've got a ticket from this season, it'll work, right? So I put that on and it got me in 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get through the bloody gate. Then got a hot dog from my favourite hot dog stand. They've got some new amateur doing it. It's all you got to do, literally, is pour the onions on, right? The length of the hot dog, little bit of mustard, little bit of ketchup and some fucking pickles. And she's just gone bosh, right in one end of the hot dog, right? Big layer of onions, and then sort of clump the rest of it on. Pile of shit. So it was going wrong. It was going wrong from the start. That's before we start to talk about the game. And
well,
I'm afraid, yeah, you carry on eating. I mean, I've got plenty to say, right? That was disgusting. Again, that was no better. That was no better than the David Moyes experience last season, which was frankly fucking humiliating. That game at home to Arsenal last year was humiliating. You know, you remember when Declan Rice scored the fucking long run, everyone was scoring against us. Deck picks one in, pings one in from fucking 30 yards away and then walks off the pitch like Scott Parker. You know, the hero refused to celebrate and all that nonsense. Yeah, he was celebrating today. I do not accept. We covered this the other night where we said the good thing about supporting West Ham, there are a few good things, but the good thing about supporting West Ham over the years is that we're capable of beating anyone on our day. But I don't think this set of players and this manager or David Moyes last season, I don't think they get the memo. I don't think they've got the memo. They don't think we're a London side who compete. They look at us as little old West Ham, who just turn up and bend over and get taken roughly from behind by the likes of Arsenal and whoever else happens to be quite good, right? That is not us. That is not West Ham. West Ham fight these teams. This is a London derby. You make a fucking game of it, right? You do not go into a London derby half-hearted, you know, really scared of your own shadow, sit back and give Arsenal the ball and say, come on. It was basically David Moyes' tactics all over again. We invited them onto us and they fucking took the invitation, didn't they? They took the invitation. Anyway, before we talk about the actual game, what's your overriding opinion?
Well, I'm trying to think of any positives out of it. The only positive I can think of was we had maybe an 8-minute spell at the back end of the first half where we had a go. Obviously, we got 2 goals back.
Yeah,
I think we had Arsenal rattled at that point. If I'm being honest with you, I think we did.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, in terms of the whole game, mate, it was absolutely woeful. I think you hit the nail on the head, right? You say West Ham, being a West Ham fan, we can beat anyone on our day, but equally we can also lose to anyone on our day, and it's been proven because today the issue I've got with today's game is that we just showed far too much respect to Arsenal, and we just shouldn't be doing that in a London derby. To your point, right? It's a London derby, irrespective of the fact that Arsenal, yes, they're a better team than us. They've got, you know, better players than us or whatever, right? But to get turned over by 5 goals, mate, it's unacceptable. I'm not surprised we lost. Like I said, I predicted that we would lose today. I did, but I just think for me that I would have accepted that loss had there been a performance there, a performance to be proud of. But there really wasn't. There's nothing to be proud of, and I can't think of any single player out there for me that, well, aside from Wan-Bissaka, I thought everyone was bang average. I thought Kilman was woeful today. I think aside from Emerson's goal that he scored, which was a worldie to be fair to him, I think he had a tough day as well with Saka. But I don't know what it is, mate, but Arsenal really wind me up, Gal. They really wind me up more so than any other team in the league right now.
I know. They're fucking fans. They're fans. You've only come to watch the Arsenal. Fuck off. I wouldn't go anywhere to watch the fucking Arsenal, let alone the London Stadium. You just happen to be there. You're this week's opposition, you bunch of feisty pricks.
No, it's not just their fans, though, mate. It's their players as well, because they're just I don't know, mate. The way they play, they're just a bunch of arseholes, mate. They're always playing for free kicks, killing time. It just bugs the hell out of me, mate. They're on the floor more than they are on their feet. And it's just, I just don't like them. I really dislike Arsenal. And it's not me being bitter here because they've beaten us. Because, look, at the end of the day, they deserve the win. Absolutely, of course they did. They're a better team than us. I accept the defeat. But I just don't like Arsenal, and I've really gone against them over the last couple of years. And it's got Soddle to do with Declan Rice.
Me too. I fucking can't stand them. I can't stand them. You know what? I prefer Tottenham to Arsenal. That's saying something, right?
Yeah, I know. Me too.
I can't be. I cannot abide Arsenal. They are so fucking up themselves. It winds me up. Everyone that supports them, they're fucking up themselves. You talk to them. It's like, it all goes back to, I remember listening to a TalkSport phone-in once, and Arsenal had lost a game. And this fucking geezer was full of himself, this supporter who phoned up. And the words out of his mouth was, "That is unacceptable. We are Arsenal. We are a top international football club." It's like, oh, fuck off, mate. You're not. You're a Premier League. You're a Premier League club. They do it right in from time.
Maybe when they actually start winning things, then they can start, they have for a long time.
But yeah, look, they're smug as fuck. And the people, I can't stand them. One of them got a slap anyway. One of them decided to celebrate at 4-0, which, mate, the wrong time to celebrate in amongst a bunch of West Ham fans. You don't
behind me, mate.
That.
It was behind me. I didn't quite see what happens, but I can see it all kick it. Well, I can see something kicking off. I've not seen anything, mate. But
honestly, there are Arsenal scarves. At least if you go and sit in an away end, behave yourself, show some respect. Because if you don't, I'm sorry, something's going to happen here, right? And rightfully so, in my opinion. I've gone and I've sat in Tottenham ends before and Arsenal ends before and stuff like that. But you have some respect for where you're sitting. There's no excuse for that. You kind of deserve a bit of a slap if you do something like that, don't you?
Of course you do.
Look, that was from the kickoff today. You could tell that we were lining up in a totally bottled formation. This was David Moyes all over again. This was sit back and give them the ball and see what they can do while we defend with every fucking man behind the ball. This was a flashback to David Moyes. It's never going to work. It might work 1 in 100 times when the opposition team are having a bad day or have got loads of injuries or have really bad luck. But if you're playing against a good side, generally, if you're not doing that well yourself, which we're not, apart from one game earlier in the week, we've been crap all year, don't forget, then thank you, HC. And I'll tell you what, at $9.99, that will probably just about buy me a new hot dog. So I appreciate that. I think that's probably how much they cost, because a water, a Coke and 2 hot dogs was 25 quid.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. Yeah. So thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, it really cuts me deep inside, and I know it does for a lot of West Ham fans as well, when you see us turn up and we're really, really tame and we don't even have a go. Because the only chance you've got, you can turn that 1 in 100 to 5 in 100, 10 in 100, 15 in 100. If you just go at them and have a try, actually get your attacking players. We have not got a cheap team. We have not got the bargain basement team that the promoted teams have got. We've got a very expensively assembled team. There is no excuse for our players or our manager to just accept our fate and go on the pitch ready to lose, because that's what they did today. They absolutely did. There was no commitment from the start. Antonio looked knackered up front because, lo and behold, a 34-year-old striker cannot play like that 2 games in a week. Well, he's got to do it again on Tuesday, right? Paqueta was pulled to pieces today. He was all over the place. They knew how to play Paqueta, and they really, really played him. He got caught in possession for one of the goals. I think he got pushed for the. Let's go and talk about the goals, right? Firstly, the set piece, the very, very predictable set piece. I've just watched Lopetegui's post-match interviews where he came up with some pidgin English about how they prepared for the. Prepared really. I mean, the number 12. I don't know Arsenal's players, but the number 12, who was annoying and kept hitting the deck in the second half. Three times with this corner routine in the first half, he started behind Souček on the far post. Every time he just ran one way past Souček, and Souček didn't move, and nobody went with him, right? And that was the diversion run that allowed Gabriel to get a totally free header. Not a tall bloke to get a totally free header on that first goal. That is a criminal offence in the Premier League. Right, I will not accept a team that we've paid so much to put together should lose to anybody in that league. We should not concede 5 against fucking anybody in that league, let alone Arsenal at home on our own patch. If you're going to get turned over by a couple of brilliant goals, fine, I can take that. We all can. We said that the other night. You don't get rolled over and concede 4 in what was it, fucking half an hour,
mate. That first goal was absolutely criminal because Arsenal are notorious for basically loading it at the far post. Yeah. And they all venture forward right to the near post. So you could see it was ridiculous. There's a massive gap, weren't there? Yeah. Massive gap.
All of our players went with them on the far post, and half of them didn't follow the Arsenal players in, did they?
Well, I think for the first goal, and I might be wrong on this because I haven't even watched any of this back right, but I think Antonio had Gabriel, which is a little bit mismatched, and Paqueta was basically at the near post. And for some strange reason, I think Paqueta got basically physically, outdone on that near post, and it gave Gabriel the ability to kind of tap it in or whatever. It just kind of skimmed off him, I think, and I couldn't believe it. Initially, I thought it was a goal from. I thought Saka scored from a straight corner, mate, because everyone was basically at the far stick, and it was just pathetic. It was such a stupid goal to concede. So whatever you said, Lopetegui said that he practiced this, warmed up for all these set pieces. Well, we didn't do it very well, mate. Because I'll tell you what, every single corner I was shitting myself because they looked a threat, and they are a threat on set pieces. But that, for me, every time they got a corner, I was thinking, oh my God, it was a bit like, when we were really effective from set pieces a couple of seasons ago, or last season, wherever it was. It's a bit like that. It was a bit like that. And I was really concerned. But yeah, first goal was awful, mate.
Let's just focus because they had about 5 corners in the first half, and every single corner they were dangerous because of this. And I had a perfect view, probably a better view from where you are, because you could see everybody, you see the wider picture. And at the back stick, they all assembled at the back stick together with a bunch of our players, and we were trying to pick them up. We were trying to do man to man, right? So but it was man to man to a point. You had clearly each Arsenal player had their marker. Apart from just before the corner was about to be taken, this number 12, who I don't know his name, he folded off.
Timber. I think it's Timber. Timber.
He peeled off of the rest of them, and literally nobody picked him up. And his job literally was he was the diversion run. He was to run in to the box. And so to take the attention away from the likes of Gabriel, who's going to get their head on a clear header. He did it perfectly for the first goal. So he just ran past Souček. Souček didn't even move. He done it again after 5 corners I saw. 5 times Souček didn't move. It probably wasn't his man to pick up, but for fuck's sake, if Souček had just turned around, he could have stopped the run. He could have blocked him off.
Well, right? it's the lack of awareness, mate, from those seconds, right? So irrespective of whoever was supposed to pick up who, if you're looking around and you think, wait a minute, this geezer's unmarked, well, you're going to do something about it, right? But it was almost like they just stood there, It's not dissimilar for the goal that was it Trossard scored at the far stick when Saka knocked it across goal.
Well, that is the second goal, wasn't it? Because it was a ball over the top, which was it basically took Kilman and co out of the game. The defenders froze and it was crossed, and Trossard scored at the far stick.
The way I saw that goal was so Saka had it. He had it on the right wing. It was a decent bit of interplay, to be fair.
No, he had it, but the ball over to him, it was over the top of the defence, Kilman or whatever, onto Saka, and they had 3 men in it, basically being played on side by our defence, right?
But why was Emerson ball watching? Because he literally had Saka. I think the ball went back, and then Saka made a run in behind Emerson. Then he got the ball again, and then he pinged it across goal. And to be honest with you, there was no one there to actually defend that, because I think they had I'm sure Havertz was in the middle and he missed it, and then it was
Yeah.
Trossard at the far stick that got, obviously got a touch to it. But Wan-Bissaka,
But
I mean, to be fair to him, good game today, but I thought he should have had him. He was sticking his hand up to
yeah,
say
yeah,
offside.
no. I blame Wan-Bissaka for not reacting at the far post for that. He kind of
he was just sticking his hand up, standing still.
He was playing the offside trap, but it was onside. He was clearly onside. I didn't watch the replay. Totally onside, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens next is they get the inevitable penalty, because every year Saka comes down to West Ham, he gets a penalty, because the first thing on Saka's mind when he drives into the box is, if I get a touch, I'm in the deck. Now, to me, it wasn't a big enough contact for him to go down, but lo and behold, swallow dive, he throws. It was a penalty, but the swallow dive, unnecessary, but just making sure that referee sees and gives. And if there was ever any doubt the referee was going to give a penalty today, he was sadly mistaken. I mean, he would have given it any which way. Anyway, he pointed straight to the spot, no hesitation. By the way, before then, we saw the Somerville disallowed goal, which was, again, I haven't seen that back. That wasn't on.
Lovely finish, though. Lovely finish,
fantastic finish. And I thought he played pretty well in the first half. Somerville, albeit he seemed to be playing sort of centrally for a while, and that's where he scored that goal from. I couldn't figure out what we were doing up front, because it wasn't the same as the other night, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was all over the place, mate.
Yeah,
honestly, it really was.
I think that's where I get this thing that what he seemed to do was pull it back and play a Moyes system and try to outnumber Arsenal defensively, and Antonio was one of those defenders, basically, right? I think he was playing left, wasn't he? He was playing left at one point, but yeah,
Antonio was,
it was just it was miserable.
It was a clear pen, though, Gal, to your point. I mean, I think at the end of the day, Paqueta sticks his leg out, not being funny, but if that's one of our players, then I want him to go down. You take the pen, right? It was a clear pen. I think Paqueta's a bit stupid for sticking his leg out there. You know what's going to happen if you've got Saka up against you like that. Of course he's going to fucking go down.
Gary Brock, sorry guys, making me more depressed. No offense, latest people. Yeah, I know. Sorry, Gary.
Gary Brock needs to revise his predictions, doesn't he? He needs to revise his predictions now.
Gary, unfortunately, this is the downside of running a YouTube channel. You got to talk about shit like this. So there you go. Right. Nobody enjoys it. We far prefer upbeat shows, but hey, is what it is. Right, so that's 3-0. And at 3-0, I started getting flashbacks to what I wanted out of this game. What I wanted out of this game was to not be embarrassed, right? That is what I wanted out of this game. But that is not what we got out of this game. It was heading towards a fucking car crash again, right? And when they got the fourth goal, which was a really dreadfully pathetic goal, it really was. That was Paqueta getting dispossessed in midfield. Giving the ball away, basically. A ball over the top, a straight ball over the top. Kilman.
What's he doing there? Because he's attempted to clear it somehow or get a touch on it, but maybe he would have been better off following the ball.
He's got to stay on his feet there, right? Yeah. What he did was he did a kind of little calculation in his head. The guy's faster than me. I'm going to try to lunge, but when the lunge
ain't that fast, Gal. Havertz is not that fast a player.
I know, but when the lunge misses, you look like a cunt, don't you? And he did, right? He really did. He completely missed the bloody ball. And then Havertz has got a one-on-one with Fabianski. Only one result there. Only one result. So 4-0 down. And at this point, anger. Pure anger. And that's where people start to really lose their rag. There was a fight that went out, started breaking out up, obviously where that Arsenal fan was in the corner. Bodies everywhere, all sorts of stuff going on. There's a geezer arguing in the aisle to me right with West Ham fans. Always happens, right? It always happens. It's just a direct result of West Ham getting humiliated, because when West Ham, the team, get humiliated, the fans get humiliated as well. And it ain't a good feeling. It ain't a nice feeling. So 4-0 down, we're deeply, deeply pissed off. We haven't competed so far, right? And then what happens is, while that fight's going on, Soler plays the most beautiful through ball, takes 4 Arsenal players out of the game. Such was the accuracy of this ball.
That's brilliant, mate. Great assist that was.
Yeah, and Wan-Bissaka, first time, like a striker again, equals his he scored 2 goals in a couple of days. That's as many as he scored in his entire career, which is bloody amazing for someone.
Yeah, lovely, tidy finish as well, wasn't it? In the
Very
box.
tidy finish. He finishes naturally. So how the bloody hell has he only scored 2 goals? I don't know.
Maybe,
But anyway,
maybe we've got another option up front now. We can stick Wan-Bissaka up there. I'm joking.
Oh yeah.
But at least he can fucking finish.
Might as well, eh? And then we get a free kick shortly after, and Emerson puts in the most delicious, unsavable free kick.
Yeah,
and I was watching Gio on the way home. Actually, he mentioned this. He said, like, because this is what comes to my mind as well. All last season, we had to watch James Ward-Prowse trying to equal David Beckham's fucking record. He hardly got near the goal, right? And all the time, we've got this geezer who can take free kicks, and it wasn't a fluke because he took one just before half time. Again, he nearly scored from that as well.
Yeah, do you know, with regards to Emerson, yeah. So I was watching the players warming up, before the game, and he was actually practicing free kicks, and he hit one very similar. Didn't touch the crossbar, right? This one, but it went top bins. And as soon as I saw that we had that free kick, actually, I was going up to half time. I was literally going to grab a drink, so I was standing I think it's just behind you actually, and I turned around to Fred and I said, he's going to score this one purely because I saw him convert, that shot that he practiced before the game. What a goal that was, though. I mean, I think at that point, right? So you sub that. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you why it was so good, Chris, is because it was quite close as well, and he got it up and down, and it was off the bar. It was literally unsavable. It could not.
It's a postage stamp job, isn't it? It's a postage stamp job, and I think, I mean, at that point, I think, I mean, Arsenal were proper rattled then. They were proper rattled.
Well, the first goal went in, and it was kind of a half celebration because we thought it was a consolation goal.
The
second one goes in, and lo and behold, again, we start to hope, right? We think, fucking hell, if we get the next goal, this place is going to erupt, right? Arsenal, like you say, were rattled. They were rattled, and we needed to capitalise on that. And we tried to capitalise on it. But then what the referee did was just fucking finish the game. He finished the game with a ridiculous penalty. And I saw exactly what happened here, right? Watch it on Match of the Day later, whatever. But this is what happened. He was standing on the edge of the box looking towards the goal, right? Fabianski tried to punch it, didn't quite punch it, kind of shaved the side of Gabriel's face. He didn't punch him in the face. He didn't knock him out, right? It was probably, and even Lopetegui said this as well, it was, if that was a penalty, then the first goal that they scored when Paqueta got taken out on the corner, that should have been given as well because it was a similar contact, right? Yeah. But what happened was, and I'm pretty sure that Arsenal do set-piece cheating training. And the reason for this is, it was like poetry. It was like poetry. I think what's happened there is Gabriel has jumped into Fabianski. That is why Fabianski has missed his punch, because he's usually quite reliable with the punches. He's jumped into him, and he's ended up catching him. He's probably put his face there, right? He's got touched. He's gone down holding his face like he's been knocked out. Literally, without skipping a beat, about 5 Arsenal players appealed and started pointing, that's a fucking penalty, that's a fucking... At this time, the referee had not done anything. He didn't even react to it. He weren't going to give it, right? Within literally there was a couple of Arsenal players then descended on him. Didn't think he could do that anymore. Get in the referee's ears. I thought it was just the captain. No, but Arsenal can't they? Soon as they got into his ears, he'd by this time been walking slowly towards the penalty spot. About 10 seconds had passed, and then he pointed to the spot. It's like they fucking got it. That was a gift to them, right? But I'm not, Chris, I'm not going to say that lost us the game because it didn't.
No, the way I saw that was, well, frankly speaking, I didn't see it. I didn't see it as a penalty because I was standing, as I say, I was standing just probably near to where you were at that point. And a few of the guys I was standing next to were all talking to each other. We were like, I think he's given a penalty. I was like, nah, there's no way he's given a penalty because what's it for? I thought it was a corner, mate, if I'm being honest with you. I thought it was a corner.
Oh, we got a fucking Arsenal twat in the comments.
Fucking twat. No, I thought it was a corner. As did I think a few of the lads that I was standing near as well. To see that given a penalty, because Yeah, like it literally. I mean, the ref didn't call it, did he? He didn't call it. It took him a while.
Honestly, Chris, I totally believe that Arsenal do this in training. I think they practice this shit in training. I think that was a set piece.
Team, Gal.
I think that was a set piece to win a fucking corner. I reckon Arteta dresses up as a referee for the training sessions, and they fucking do these set pieces where, right, this is what you got to do to buy a foul, and all you lot get in that referee's ear straight away, right? Because he used to be the biggest cheat of all, Arteta, when he was a player, and he's just a bigger cheat now when he's a manager. I hate Arsenal. I hate Arteta. I hate his eyebrows. I've got no time for any of them. I wish them nothing but failure. I hope they fail. Maybe a few nasty injuries or something. Let's hope so. Nothing bad. I really despise them now. I absolutely fucking despise them. They've gone from a team that I actually quite liked, Arsenal, in a way, because a lot of my family support them. Up until like last season, I didn't mind them at all. They were like a friendly aunt, right? They were like, sometimes you beat them, most of the time you lose them, but so what? Now they've turned into this hideous gloating machine, right? That try to rub your fucking nose in it, right? We're big bad Arsenal. Yeah, they've got the ultras now, haven't they? You dress in black or you're not invited to the party. Fuck off. Right. Anyway, enough about Arsenal. That was the first half. 5-2 down. 5-2 down. Game over, right? It was never going to come back from there, was it?
No, I mean, we spoke about it at half time. I think we already resigned to the fact that we'd lost the game. I was hoping that, yeah, it was damage limitations, but let's be honest, Arsenal came out and they didn't even really, they didn't even come out of first gear. You know, they'd already won the game by that point. So I guess I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't take the game a bit more to Arsenal in the second half. I think we could have done, because Arsenal, as I say, they gave up because they could give up, right? They'd already won the game. So I'm a little bit disappointed. We were a bit better in the second half, but that's not because we were that much more better. It's because Arsenal were probably more shitter.
Well, no, they switched off and gone home. Right?
Yeah, they did.
5-2 up. It was about preserving, because all they did in the second half was, as soon as they got touched, they're driving around on the floor.
They're on the floor and they're just passing. I mean, this is the fucking thing about this guy. The second half. Again, there's nothing really to talk about. Let's be honest. Yeah, we didn't really get. There was no real opportunity, so we had to score a goal. We had a little bit more possession in the second half, but I think overall, the biggest frustration I had is, why the hell are we sitting back? Why are we not pressing? Why are we not doing it? Why are we not playing like we did a little bit against Newcastle on Monday? Okay, I don't understand. I just don't understand the mentality. Yes, we're playing Arsenal, but why the hell do we do these things? It's so frustrating. So frustrating. And the thing is, you know, I mean, I do think that penalty was pivotal, by the way, because we were on the ascendancy at that point. It was 4-2. We were definitely
if we get the third, that place erupts.
Yeah,
right? And all the pressure's on Arsenal. But
I'm not saying it's going to be a different game. Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be a different game and a different result, but you know, I think it would have changed the complexion of the game a little bit had they not got that penalty, that undeserved penalty. It would have done. But you know what? What's done is done, and it's just a fucking shit show, Gal. It's an absolute shit show, and I think it just goes to show that defensively we're an absolute fucking shambles. We were just shit today. I mean, I've got nothing positive to say about that. The only positive thing I've got to say is probably the 2 goals we scored, maybe an 8-minute spell where we looked a bit better. And we had them slightly rattled, but 8 minutes over 90 plus minutes is not enough. It's just simply not enough, right?
No, it's not.
So I've got nothing to take away from that. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's 1 step forward, 2 steps back, even. Right? I mean, it's just there's nothing. I've got nothing from that, Gal. I'm exhausted after that. My voice is nearly gone. I've got a banging headache.
I was screaming over there today. I was cursing. I was cursing a lot over there today. I was the C word left my lips many times today. Shouldn't do really, but it did.
It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because all we wanted from today, it wasn't necessarily about. Of course, it'd have been lovely to have got the win, but I think we all kind of knew that we wouldn't. But it was just the manner of the defeat again. It was just. I still don't know what our identity was. I thought our identity was shown on Monday, mate, when we played Newcastle. That, you know what, maybe give Lopetegui a chance. But yes, it's Arsenal. So let's see what happens in the next 2 games against Leicester and Wolves. Those will be absolutely pivotal.
Different performance, though, Chris. You saw what happened today with Souček. Souček on Monday was given license to push forward, to run around, to do the blocking. Today, they were trying to involve him in intricate passing moves, and he just can't do it, can he?
Yeah.
You remember that one when they're trying to pass out of defence? Lovely little neat move. Pass it to Souček, fucking pass it out of play. Right. Pass it out of play.
I mean, he misplaced a few passes today, Souček did, didn't he? Let's be honest. He didn't have the greatest game, but he weren't the worst. I just think
he weren't the worst. He weren't the worst, but I'd like to know what his role was on those corners, because he seemed to just stand at the far post and not move. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, we lost that midfield battle today badly. Like we really lost it today.
We got embarrassed.
And I think, look, you got to kind of look at Arsenal's team and you think, okay, so they've got Odegaard in there, who was basically he was like excellent today. Odegaard was fantastic.
They're a great side. They're a great side, but we're a Premier League side. We've spent a lot of money. We don't concede 5 goals at home to fucking anyone. Right? It can't happen. I understand losing 1 or 2-0 against a good side. I can take that. I'm a big boy. But you don't get humiliated at home. You don't go 4-0 down in half an hour. No fucking way. Too easy. Too easy. If like last year, if they had carried on, heaping the pressure on us, they could have gone into double figures without exaggerating.
Yeah. No, they could have done, mate.
It was pitiful. It was pitiful.
I did think when it was 4, and I could see a lot of fans were leaving. I thought, no. I mean, I'll stick it around. My kind of benchmark is 6. Once it gets to 6, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I need to walk, right? But
yeah,
I stuck around, and I don't blame any fans for leaving though, because it's not acceptable to be 4 down after 35 minutes, whatever it was. It's just not.
I stayed to the 85th. I stayed to the 85th minute. I couldn't.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. I was done by that point.
But Neville apparently had a pop at the West Ham fans on telly when we went 4-0 down for going home. It was like,
Gary Neville.
Yeah, don't even want to hear what you got to say.
Oh, he's a twat. Yeah, he's always doing that. I'm not being funny, mate. Do you know, right?
Idiot.
Get out, right? We pay a lot of money. We spend a lot of time, a lot of effort to get to that fucking goldfish bowl, right? We do it all the time. And I'm not being funny. If you're 4-0 down after half an hour and showing no effort, and you barely got out your half, and honestly, we were barely out of half, apart from that Somerville chance that he obviously scored, but it was offside. We showed absolutely nothing. So how can you have a go? That really annoys me. That does. How can you ever go at West Ham fans for leaving at that point? It's a bloody nightmare going to Stratford. It's horrible. It's horrible.
It is, especially at 5:30 on a Saturday night around the Christmas period, when you've got that shopping centre across the way and everything else mobbed, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at a couple of comments. Let's calm myself down and go for a few comments. The lovely people who are watching. We need a voice on the pitch. In the refs here, Bowen's too quiet. Yeah, he was back to his quiet self today. We need that, but that ain't down to completely Bowen. If you look at Arsenal, Barry, I hate it, but if teams like that do it, we have to do it as well. Everybody has to respond as one and be in the referee's ear. Literally. All West Ham players did was watch the Arsenal players getting in the referee's ear. They should have been in his face as well, but they fucking didn't respond. None of them. They just let Arsenal do their thing like they always do. And Arteta, fucking jumping up and down on the touchline, little tip. Right. Bottom line is Sullivan doesn't own up to his mistake. And for me, this could get very bad for him. And the fans are not put up to it. Well, look, we're going to kind of talk about a little bit about Leicester. But this has now turned Leicester again into a must-win. An absolute must-win. With Ruud van Nistelrooy's first game in charge as well. We're busy blaming Sullivan and the shite version of Rafa. Time the players own this mess as well as taking money. Well, yeah, I do blame the players for today, because they proved the other day they could do better, and they didn't today. That was half-hearted in the extreme. Right?
Yeah, you blame the players as well, but also don't forget, there's no doubt in my mind that Lopetegui's saying, right, okay, we're not going to pressure them.
No, I blame him.
We're not going to do that. So
I blame him as well. Even afterwards. Even afterwards.
It's his tactics. It's his tactics now, where he's saying, okay, so let them have the ball, sit back, and we're doing that, and they're just going to pick us off after a period of time, right? So you can blame the players as much as you want, but if they're being told by Lopetegui to play that certain style of football, then we're literally opening ourselves up. So I do blame the players. Of course you do, because they're the guys who are out there doing the job. But if they are told to play that way, surely, for me, Lopetegui's a fucking clown today, mate. You should be learning from the Newcastle game, because that actually worked, funnily enough. That actually worked when we were playing that style of football. But we don't do it today, do we? We don't continue with where we left off. No. It's because we're playing Arsenal. We're going to sit back and let them play in front of us.
Yeah, I mean, completely, totally agree. Listen, that was awful today. That was awful, and he sounded like a Spanish David Moyes in the post-match interview, where the first thing he said was, Arsenal are one of the best teams in the league and one of the best in the world, maybe. That's exactly how fucking Moyes used to do it. Well, we're playing Liverpool. What do you expect? Fuck off. Don't want to hear it, right? Dick Turpin. We haven't turned any corner. One game, big deal. One thing I won't accept, Dick Turpin, is for getting stuff today to suddenly make Newcastle a fluke or a bad performance, because it wasn't. It was a good performance and it wasn't a fluke. All right. But it does look like it might have been a one-off. Poison Dwarf and Botox Brady, as long as they're at the helm, nothing ain't changing. Yeah, probably. He tried to play them on, so I don't know who you talk about. So Saka is a cheating offside. Yes, he is. Always will be. The modern day Franny Lee. Yeah. Gary. Yeah. Oh no, not Gary. They push people too far, and it comes to the point when fans say, "I don't want to come back until they've gone." Yeah. But the thing is, we're a very well supported club. If we don't go to watch them, some other person will. We know that. Chinese tourist with a half and half scarf, who was a very nice bloke actually behind us, but he was attending his first Premier League game today. That's who they're selling the tickets to. Yeah. Well, let me tell you, Puran Mira, he got clapped when he came across and took the first corner. A big round of applause, and he clapped the team. He clapped the fans back. I hated it.
Yeah. Do you know what he did though, Gal?
Personally, I'm just quiet with Rice. I don't boo him. I don't cheer him. That's the way it should be. He's just an opposition team player. He means nothing.
He went over to the corner, Gal. He went over to the corner flag, and he went up to the fans, and he went like that. Like, I don't know what that means. Does that mean can't? I don't know what that means. But there was a section where I'm sitting. We were booing. They're booing Rice. I'm like you. I don't boo him. I don't cheer. I'm not going to clap him. Look, we've already given him his credit. I'm not going to criticise someone for booing him, but I do feel a little bit weird when people clap him. He's an opposition team player. Well, exactly. He's left West Ham. He's left West Ham
4-0 and he comes over to the corner flag. Give him a clap, but fucking hell, they're about to go in the lead. He didn't get a clap for the next corner he took. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, if we get into a relegation battle with this Pillock still here, don't be surprised if we get relegated. We're not too good to go down. No, we're definitely not, Colin, too good to go down. Even our 2 goals, I was past caring. Well, look, maybe you weren't in the ground. When you're in the ground and you pull 2 goals back like that, 2 really good goals, and suddenly it's 4-2 and they're rattled, you suddenly start thinking, fucking hell, if we get a third. But then it's West Ham. The old saying is the hope that kills you. Well, it does, doesn't it? Maybe if you're at home, you can be a little bit more dispassionate, but in the ground, that's certainly the way it felt, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, of course it does, mate. Like I said, my throat is done today. I've got a headache. I'm spent after that game. I really am.
Yeah. No player bashing. We're entitled to be critical of players when they play badly, Damien, sadly. Sorry, mate. Lop out. Yeah, well, he's was that you fighting the BM? No, sadly not.
Yeah, I thought it was you, Gal. I must admit, I did look over at one point. I thought there was a bit of claret flying in the air. I thought you were getting involved.
I must admit, I was really fucking tetchy at that point. I really was.
I know. I saw you at half time, mate.
I was fuming. Nigel told the Polish people to stop videoing the game. They're sitting there. We're losing 4-0. 2 Polish, again, Chinese behind me, Polish tourists turned up, sitting in front of my mate Nigel, sitting there with the phone, filming the game. 4-0, they're still filming the game, having a lovely time. At this point, Nigel losing track said, "Stop filming the fucking game."
You know, like, here's the thing, Gary. You talk about like the tourists, right? Because I actually noticed there's a lot of them today. Because where I sit, I could notice a lot of new faces, and I'm questioning to myself, like, why are our fans, like season tickets, not turn up for a home game against Arsenal, London Derby, under the lights? Why are they not turn up? Why are we flogging our tickets off to a bunch of tourists? Because it doesn't annoy me.
I don't know, but I find it depressing because I usually have a really nice group of people behind me. A lot of them were there, but some of them weren't, and they force you, the club, to sell the tickets back to thingy now, don't they? To the ticket exchange, otherwise on pain of losing your season ticket if you don't attend so many games. Because usually I just wouldn't attend, right? But just lately, I've been selling them on ticket exchange. It makes me every time I have to do it.
So you're responsible, Gal. You're responsible.
Well, when I've got 1 spare ticket, I'll take someone with me or whatever else. But usually, when I've got 2 spare tickets, I'll flog them. But I don't very often have 2 spare tickets. They need to realise, Randy says, they're pushing fans to the limit with their decisions. And for me, they need to be doing. I'll tell you what, we held up these cards at the beginning, right, to spell something out in the Bobby Moore lower, and nobody knew what it said. There was nothing on the camera or anything, right? So at the end, we started saying, what did it say? Charge us more. we're happy with the prices or something like that, right? We don't have a clue what we were.
Yeah, what did it say? If anyone in the chat
Brady in it could have been, right? It could have been.
I'd like to know. I'd like to know what it actually said, because I don't know. I was holding it up. It could have said, I don't know, anything.
We could have been completely mugged off there. We could have been mugged off, right? Voting for something that we didn't want. Right. Yeah. But like I said earlier, they're shameful, but we're a very, very well supported club. You only have to look at Prague and what went on back here at the same time and the day after to realise how many, people want to watch West Ham, and they know that. They know that. Sadly, they didn't know that until we moved into this ground, because we only had 35,000 before, and had to try very hard to sell the tickets. But in this ground, with all the transport links and everything else, it's actually, for a neutral, it's actually a decent place to go out for an afternoon and watch the football, right? We're the worst coach team in the league. It's not even funny at this point. It ain't funny at all, no. To be fair, that Rice tackle was completely clean. I don't know what you're talking about. Sacks 889, Arsenal fan. Wan-Bissaka, our new number 9. Yeah, I love Emerson. We must stay together, guys and girls. Most important thing, eventually, change will happen eventually. This is what I firmly believe, Randy. This is an era we're going through. Sullivan and Brady, they're not forever. They're just an era that will be over at some point. The geezer's not getting any younger. He's not getting any healthier. He's already had like a fucking triple heart bypass, and he don't slow down, does he, with the girlfriends? So, and I am absolutely convinced that he ain't handing this across to his kids, because that is a perfect way to lose a family fortune, to give it to a couple of.
Can you imagine? Right? Can you imagine if he gives it to Little Jack? Honestly,
he's flattering them by making them feel like big boys, by giving them roles in the club. When it comes to actually running the club, he knows they ain't fucking up to it, right? It's a pair of boys. It's a pair of boys with no experience outside of working for daddy, right?
That would be the final insult, mate. That would be the final insult if he did that. If he gave it to his boy to look after, then I'd just be absolutely livid, mate. I don't honestly.
Mind you, Lady Brady's only business successes have been working for Sullivan and Gold. I mean, when you look at what she did with what was that that department store that she got involved with? I can't remember which one it was, but fucking hell, she dragged that down pretty damn quickly, Lady Brady. Unfortunately, I want to be proved wrong. We would at least try to give them a game. Yeah. They took their 5 best players off in the second half. Yes, they did.
They did it the last game when we lost 6-0. It's just almost like it's an embarrassment. They brought in they brought in players that I've never even fucking heard of before, Gal.
Bodger, the cricket starts soon. Come on, Bodger. You can't resort to cricket. Come on, mate. I know it's bad. Muppet fans, little kindergarten fans, they are actually, especially the thingies, what they called the ultras.
Gal, there's a very good comment here, right? Just read that one out, but I'll just pin this one up next.
Well, I'm going to go down to the bottom, so sorry if I've missed any, because I'm really slow on these comments, so sorry about that. Right. 11-2 at London Stadium last 2 games. Yeah. Should never have sat Moyes. Yeah, right.
Here you go, Gal. There we go. Would you take 100 million tax-free cash, mate?
Well, I know what you're asking. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to share this with this is a private conversation that's been going on in our little WhatsApp group between me, Bodger, Claire, and Chris, right? It's all a bit wrong. But I'm going to share it with you, a beautiful audience, right? And that is,
would you take, what are you sharing, it, Gal? What are you sharing, mate?
Would you take 100 million tax-free for a night of passion with David Sullivan? Let me know your answers in the comments. Gary, we're overestimating this team of players. Our midfield was slow. Yeah, it is, and it got slower, didn't it, Mandy? Because they put Rodriguez on again. Yeah, you just can't leave against off the pitch. Alvarez, yeah, he's slow as well. 2 strikers with a combined age of 66 and 1 German AWOL striker. Yeah, look, he was knackered today. Even Ings was knackered today, which surprised me. Either that or he's really, really slow. I don't know. As disappointing as today was, if we win against Leicester and Wolves, be in a better place. Well, look, we'll be in a safe place if we do that. And that is why those 2 games, like I said before the transfer window, we were, mind you, I did say we were going to lose Newcastle and Arsenal. That didn't come true. So maybe I was a little bit wrong. But these 2 games are absolutely pivotal. Absolutely pivotal to our season.
Do you know, Gal, right? So look, I know we said that before the Newcastle and Arsenal games. You said, we're not expecting to get anything out of it. So in theory, we're on the, we've we're in a better place than what we thought we'd be, you know, with that 3 points. But again, conceding those 5 goals today, for me, just puts us in a more shittier place, because it just goes to show that whenever we slightly turn a corner, it goes straight back to the shit that we've been used to and served up all season. So from a defensive point of view, you look how many goals we conceded this season. We've conceded the same amount of goals as Ipswich have, and they're in 19th position, mate. That's how bad we are defensively, right? We are awful, mate. We are really, really bad. So
look at how much he spent. Look at how much he spent on that defence. 70 million quid.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, but again, like as we said so many times, the fullbacks playing further up, well, then we want them to this, that, and the other, right? It worked against Newcastle, but he has no idea of switching it around, you know, for certain games. He just doesn't do it, does he?
No,
he just doesn't do it. I mean, having said that, in the second half today, it looked like we were playing almost like a diamond formation. I might be off there, but it looked very different when he took off Somerville. It was a very, very different shape that we had.
What did he take off Somerville? Of all players,
the only thing I can think of is that perhaps he wanted someone to maybe double up on Saka on the right hand side, I suppose, because Somerville wasn't really getting back to help out from a defensive point of view as much, right? But then if he did, I mean, I saw Antonio on the left hand side at times. I see Soler on the left hand side at times. I'm like, well, and it was like a diamond. It was like a diamond that we were playing. When I think about it, it was. Yeah. But again, Somerville weren't our worst player. Again, I'll go back to my point, right? Arsenal, they're notorious of basically taking their foot off the gas when they've already tonked the team like they had us at this point, right? 5-2 up. They're notorious. Why did we not just have a go a little bit more at them in the second half? Maybe we could have even stuck on, I don't know, Guilherme, a bit of pace just to offer us something different on the left-hand side, perhaps. But you didn't do that, you know? It's almost like damage limitations. But I actually personally would have thought, do you know what? Fuck it. Let this be one of those crazy wild games where actually maybe, you know what, we could lose fucking 6-4 or 6-3. But let's just go out there and let's just try to attack them, right? Because it would give the fans something to shout about, you know? It would. Rather than, do you know what? Let's just sit back and let them play, you know? And that's what we fucking do, mate. It's all we do.
I agree. We need some pace and some energy in midfield. If only we'd have been allowed to buy that bloody midfielder by Moyes, you know, the one from France. He looked like the perfect fit. Yeah, he looked like the perfect fit for us. Didn't he? We just need to have that energy in midfield. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Wouldn't it be amazing to have someone?
I can't remember what it was like, mate. I can't remember what it was like.
I know. You know? 70 million for Kilman and Todibo got a 2.4 rating. Yeah, they would. I mean, I don't think Todibo is as bad as Kilman, I've got to be honest, but Kilman was awful today.
It was. That's his worst game to West Ham.
He doesn't play like that often. I'll say that. This is a strange one, right? Where is it? Antonio was left back for most of us. See, that's what I saw, Thomas. I saw that as well. He was playing on the left and Somerville was playing up front. Little Somerville, it's only about that big, playing up front in amongst the enormous Arsenal defenders. Now, I know he got through with that goal scoring opportunity, because if he can get run on defenders and get the ball to feet, he's going to strip them for pace, obviously. And it was a great finish by him, but that was literally the only time. And that was when Arsenal had a player down and we took advantage of the situation, right? We caught him out. Bright thinking, but he was offside. Gary Brock should be a moderator for that. I don't know what that was. We had to leave Upton Park. It was old, dusty, and wasn't suited for a club of our fan base. Disagree completely. It could have been it could have been made. Don't want to go over this old ground again, but that could have been 45, 50,000. That would have been a perfect size for us. We didn't need 60, 66 because, you know, everything above 50 is tourists, right? Yeah. And we're not, and it would have been a ground that we owned and got all the revenue for and could have used for other events, and we could have got all the revenue from the refreshments and everything else, and the fans wouldn't be mugged off by these huge contractors that come in and charge the earth for a hot dog that they don't put together properly. Saka is good, yes, beatable. We could have beaten them, no leadership. Yeah, not today, we couldn't. Who are we getting in if we get rid of Mr. Charismatic? Well, the mind boggles on that one. The one thing I was a bit disappointed at a couple of days ago is because I think that Newcastle win basically meant to David Sullivan that problem's over. We'll carry on with Lopetegui now, because the following day I read that Terzic had been taken off of high alert for the manager's job. I think he could be put back on high alert if we lose against Leicester. Let's be honest. what this ownership is about. There's too much talking about receiving anything back. There is too much talk without receiving anything back in return. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Is all we do is fucking give to this club. We give our time, we give our money, we give our loyalty, we give our commitment. We've followed this club up and down the country, many of us, for years. We go to home games when we're feeling ill, when we can't be bloody bothered, right? We get on here and do YouTube shows and talk about it when we can't be bothered. But we do it because we love West Ham. That's what we do. It's our favourite thing, right? And they just take the piss out of us for it. Wouldn't it be nice to have owners who actually respected what a great fan base we've got, and not to fucking fill it up with tourists? And again, you know me, I'm not, racist in any way, shape, or form. I'm just pointing out the nationalities of these people. So Chinese tourists behind with a half and half scarf in the Bobby Moore lower, for fuck's sake. 2 Polish geezers upstairs, half and half scarves, recording the game as Arsenal win. They're neutral fans, really. They're neutral fans. 3 blokes who I thought were Arsenal fans with half and half scarves down below us in the Bobby Moore lower. That is unacceptable for what is supposed to be our kind of hardcore of fans.
Yeah.
It waters it down. It takes away its effectiveness, right? It's just not. It's no good. It's no good.
I had
Very wisely. Sorry.
I had a guy next to me today exactly the same. Like even when we scored, when Wan-Bissaka scored, I mean, admittedly, the cheers were a little bit subdued, but just nothing from him. You usually jump up. No, actually, sorry, it was when Somerville scored the goal, what we thought was a goal. There was a bit of limbs going on, obviously, but he was just standing there, and I thought straight away, tourist,
Right, before we do the player ratings, 3 more comments. So we all want the players to give 100% and die for the club, but too many mavericks stealing a living. Yes, totally agree. And it's also, Paul, it is players who don't get the mindset of what West Ham is all about. And like I said, me and Chris said the other night, West Ham is about, on your day, you can beat anyone. What you actually do is you give it a go. You do not do what Moyes done last year and he's doing this year. And when a good team comes to town, you just bend over, pull your pants down, get tough, taken roughly from behind, because that's what we do every bloody time. I would hate being relegated, but for me, I can understand why people say it. But for me, the ownership should be held accountable. Listen, if we went down, it'd be completely their fault. Completely their fault through lack of action. In a way, they deserve it. Richard Linson, love the show, but I have to say the players have to take considerable amounts of blame. Yes, they do, but the manager is ultimately accountable. Yeah, he set them up to sit. They knew from the minute they walked on the pitch, you could tell that they knew that sitting and inviting them on was not going to work, and it didn't. Sola's pass for the AWB, it was amazing, Roger. The way he took 3 or 4 Arsenal players out, it was absolute slide rule, that pass. You couldn't get a better pass.
You get a comment here, right? This one here, sorry. Hate the London Stadium, David Everett. Hate the London Stadium. Even the stewards are Arsenal fans. Some of them.
Honestly,
no, do you know this is a truth? This is actually true, right?
I know it is. I had to shout at 3 of them before I came in, before I got into the ground today. They were fucking useless, totally unhelpful, rubbish.
I've seen some of the stewards before, some of the ball boys at the front, right? When opponents have scored and they're like literally smiling and cheering, like what the fuck are we doing? Why that's not acceptable, is it?
No.
What a joke of a club. I'm sorry. Ball boys, like it was back in the day, they're West Ham fans that love West Ham. Do you know what I mean? They're not flipping supporters of other clubs. I'm not having that. It's nonsense, mate.
I agree. Surely there are plenty of people out there who support West Ham. If they advertised for stewards, they'd come rushing forward to be stewards at West Ham, right?
Love that
job. Take on Arsenal. Yeah, you don't need to take on people who can't afford to go to games. What better way than to be a steward and get in for nothing? Right. Yeah. Matthew Clark, there's a new law coming in regarding state regulation of league finances. Well, this is Brady. The one time she's gone in and spoke in the House of Lords was to push back on Starmer's idea about football regulatory body, because they don't want anything to interfere with their little fiefdom and their little scams that they've got going, right? But there's a lot coming in, both from the EU and over here as well. They've probably got another 3 years of happiness before it tightens up. So that's another reason why I say this is an era, because when that finishes, Sullivan doesn't take a salary. But if you think he doesn't earn out of this club, you're mad.
No, he earns out of this club. Definitely earns.
Right? She earns out of this club as well in more ways than one. Right? When you look at that, these new rules that are coming in, that kind of way of taking money out of a club is not going to be possible anymore. We hope. because don't forget they've got to regulate all those dodgy European clubs as well, like Barcelona, like Real Madrid. They're very, very dodgy. They've always done things in a dodgy way. So I'd be surprised if the EU legislation comes in has actually got teeth. It'd be brilliant if it does, but I just don't believe they'll fuck around with football that much to upset the big boys. I don't think they will.
Yeah, like comment. They go back to this one here. This one from the Arsenal fan, right? Arsenal fan, comment with respect. You played us at the worst times. You know, I'm inclined to agree with that actually, because obviously they got Odegaard back today. Not that it's an excuse, right? But I must say actually, I think in the league this season. So I'm not even thinking about Liverpool way or anything like that. I'd actually argue you say that's probably the best team that we've played at London Stadium this season.
Yeah, they were very, very good. And Leonard Brezhnev TV, look. People who come on and they're respectful don't mind it at all, right? Don't mind it at all. You won and you deserve to win. Nothing against a good fan. You support your team, we support ours. But having said
that, Arsenal ain't winning nothing. Fact. Love that comment as well. Sorry, don't like Arsenal. Love the respect. We don't like Arsenal.
It is the sheer quantity of piss takers, and I think that started with the evolution of Arsenal fan TV. Right? There are so many arseholes on the channel. I just can't, the geezer, I can't remember his name. I wouldn't mention it if I did, but he's in a pre-season game and talking about supporting West Ham. Going, I can support West Ham, man. They've never won anything. You support a team because of what they won. No, team selects you. You don't select the team. You don't look at a league table and say, oh, they're at the top. They win a lot. I'll support them because that'll give me a nice easy ride and gloating rights over everybody else. You should support it for another reason. Either you live there or it's your dad's team, your mum's team, whatever, right? There must be a reason to link you to a team. Don't just pick the team that wins. That would make you a mug. So Joe Schmo says, Gary, I just want to say I love what you're doing. Thing your own channel. The only thing in this channel is what I listen to the most now. Thanks, Joe. Really appreciate that. Look, we're trying our hardest to stay level-headed on these things, right? Because we tried our hardest not to get too carried away the other night. Didn't manage it very well, to be honest. But it's
we've not had much to cheer about this season, have we? Though,
all we can do is be honest and say the way we feel. And we just come back from a game and we're pissed off, right? So we're going to act pissed off because we are. Mandy says they wouldn't spend the millions to renovate up to one. No, they wouldn't, and we now know. Absolutely beyond any doubt whatsoever that all that nonsense about not getting planning permission for a certain height, when you look at the flats that are there, which are above that height, it was all bullshit. Mandy. Yeah. Right. They've taken us for absolute mugs, these owners. They really have. The first 33 minutes when we was 4-0 down has got to be the worst I've ever seen. Frightening how bad that was. I haven't seen anything like it before. Could easily have been 2-10. Yeah, it could have if they'd have carried on. If they'd have carried on and we didn't get those 2 goals back. I mean, my God, thank God 2 years running, they've taken players off. And it's like they've declared at 4-0, right? They've just well, it wasn't. At 5-2 they declared. But I think at 4-0 they also declared, which is how we ended up getting back to 4-2. Brady opposing, whip debate, she'll vote. She'll vote the way she's told. Yeah, she will. She's a Tory. She'll vote with the Tories, right? Yeah, of course. I think people are turning a little bit partisan. I tend to just take those things on their merits. If it's something I like, I'm in favour of it. If it's something I don't like, I'm against it. But people, I think, too much now are going, I'm Tory, that's Labour. If so, that must be wrong. Or I'm Labour, that's Tory, so that must be wrong. I think people are turning politics into football supporting, right? It's about being on a team. It shouldn't be like that. It should be about what's good for you and your family. Anyway, end of that. So what else we got? We're a joke of a club owned by a clown. Yes, we are. Does anyone know what that said in the Bobby Moore? What we rolled in those cards up in the Bobby Moore lower today for? Anyone?
I think it may have said something along the lines of 1895. I don't know. It might be something like that. But
1895 to 2024.
I don't know. There's no significance behind it, is there? I don't know what it was, but that's what I heard someone say. But I don't know whether that's true or not. I don't know. It could have said. I don't know. Could have said anything.
Arsenal winning the 3rd place Prem Trophy. Yeah. That's probably you get a trophy for that, right? I mean, Arsenal got a few of those trophies, haven't they? Anyway, look, let's do the player ratings. And let's start off with Fabianski. And I want to take Fabianski because, honestly, he did quite well to almost save those 2 penalties. But what he did I know he shouldn't have been given a penalty. That fifth penalty, that fifth goal was not a penalty. We all know that. But it's like when you touch someone inside the box, you give them a chance to earn the penalty. And in coming out with that wild punch, first of all, he's a tall bloke. He's taller than Gabriel. He ain't enormous, but he's taller than Gabriel. And he can use his arms, right? Why did he have to do that? Why did he have to do the wild punch? Why couldn't he just try and, you know what I mean? Try and catch the ball? Maybe catch it. Why is catching so against his nature? And Areola, neither of them catch. I'll take you back to that flying punch the other night. I hate that in football. Keepers, I've been brought up with keepers who catch the ball. And he can't use his feet either. Can't. We need a sweeper keeper. We ain't fucking got
Neither
one.
of our keepers can, Gal. They're both shocking when it comes to distribution, and also not particularly great at crosses. You know, it's two of the biggest weaknesses in both of our keepers.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to give him for that, because that killed the game stone dead. Just didn't need to do it at that point, right? I'm going to give him a 5.
Yeah, let's go through these guys quite quickly. Yeah, so for me, like, let's look at Wan-Bissaka. I'll take him because he's right back number 2. Let's go Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah,
I thought he was excellent today. Actually, I can't really fault him, apart from maybe the goal that Trossard scored. Yeah. Apart from the goal that Trossard scored, but aside from that, I thought he was defensively very good. I think, you know, when I think we moved him over to left back as well, because again, you know, he's obviously quite effective when he was going, you know, toe to toe against Saka. I thought he had a really good game, and even when he was dribbling with the ball, he was doing pretty well. And it was a lovely, tidy finish, a 2-2 for him. For me, he was man of the match. If we have to choose one, he'd be our best player today for sure. I'd give Wan-Bissaka. I mean, Jesus, it's hard to score people 8 when you've just been spanked 5-2. But I'll give him an 8, and that is going to be the highest ranking number I'd give for any of our players today. We
won't do a man of the match. There wasn't one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, but he was our best player. Let's put it that way. You know.
Yeah. Fabianski beat Gabriel, rumble in the jungle. Yeah, the softest fight you're ever going to see. So who next? Kilman.
Yeah, well, yeah. Have a look at Kilman. You can take Kilman. I don't want to do that because I'll just be.
Well, I thought he did. He just did everything wrong. He was rattled from start to finish. I think what Arsenal do is they're good at winding up. They're good at dark arts, and I think they knew how to deal with Kilman, and they dealt with him. They dealt with him really, really well. He was clearly nervous playing against Arsenal. I don't know why, because he's usually the Iceman, and he usually gets some really good performances from Kilman. But I think today he really let himself down. Worst performance by far. I'd give him a 3.
Well, his passing was off as well today, right?
Yeah, it was.
You know,
it was.
Well, yeah. Really bad. His passing. I mean, I do remember one where he sprayed it to one of the flanks, and it just went over the guy's head. I can't remember who it was. About 10 yards over his head. I was like, "What the bloody hell is that?" You know, he was just shite today. I think 3's being kind, but yeah, give him a 3.
I'm not gonna. You know, we don't do donkeys on this channel. There's some other channel that you're thinking of there. He gets a 3 though. He gets a 3. So Todibo. What do you reckon?
Todibo, well, I mean, he weren't as bad as Kilman, but he weren't good. I'll give to. I can't. I don't think I can. I don't know. Go into too much detail in terms of what they. I mean, for me, Todibo, I'm just giving him a 5 because he was just pretty bang average. In fairness, it's probably one of his worst games for us so far this season. I think defensively we're all over the place today. So aside from Wan-Bissaka, the other 3 defenders, obviously, also even Emerson as well, irrespective of goal, I thought he was pretty shite. So I'd give Todibo a 5.
It was crying out for a leader in defence today, and there wasn't one there. Was there?
But they're not. The thing is, our defence weren't helped much by our midfield, right? So again,
you're right.
In the middle. But yeah, Todibo wasn't good. You know, he really wasn't good. So yeah, I'll give him a 5. But he wasn't our worst player.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. And then
take Emerson, Gal, because I'm interested to hear what you've got to say about Emerson. Actually,
well, look. Firstly, he gets a bonus point for scoring a fantastic free kick, right? Yeah. So, so we'll mark him up 1. I'd say, he had a really bad game against Saka. He really, really encouraged. I agree with what you said. 9 times out of 10, Saka was allowed inside onto his left foot. Yeah, a couple of times with a shooting opportunity, which is what. And as always, all the damage is done by Saka against West Ham. Always is, right?
But why do that though, right? Why do that? Because you know Saka is left-footed. Why are you allowing him to cut inside on his left foot? It's criminal. It's criminal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, you know
Makes no
your
sense.
job, right? You're playing full back up against Saka. You think to yourself, right, okay, one of the key things I want to do today is make sure I don't show him inside, right? Don't allow him inside.
Yeah.
But you've done it time and time again. So, I mean, for me, I thought Emerson was pretty shit today. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was shit. Apart from that goal that he scored, which was a
yeah.
he wasn't good, mate. So
No, he wasn't. We were exposed. I felt vulnerable. When Wan-Bissaka came on and went left, when Soufal came on and Wan-Bissaka went left back, I felt a lot better.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I did as well. Yeah.
So I felt vulnerable every time Saka run at us because of Emerson. So I'm going to give him a 3. That's including the 1 for scoring the great free kick.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
It's such a shame because he was good the other night. Really good.
Yeah. And he nearly scored 2 free kicks as well, right? And that's saying something in terms of how bad he was today, in my opinion, that you're giving him a 3. I think 3 is pretty low. I'll give him maybe a 4.
I think he contributed to, when you consider where those goals came from, right? When you consider he's a defender and defence was a fucking shambles. No, 3's probably a little bit light. Yeah, let's give him a 4. Let's give him a 4. You don't rate Paul. You don't rate Emerson as a defender. Yeah, I've got my doubts as well, I must admit. But we do have one good fullback in AWB. We do. If only he could play left back, right back, centre half, and up front, we'd be all right. Soler, the guy's quality. Well, let's talk about Soler. I thought from the midfielders, he had the best game. I thought he did quite a lot right, and I think he's playing. I think Arsenal picked on Paqueta, and they opened up his vulnerabilities.
Yeah, they did.
And I think they made him look like a bit of a mug a few times. Whereas I thought Soler just looked like, again, he went about his job quietly. I don't think he done anything badly wrong. He set up that beautiful goal. He's an accomplished midfielder. I really like him. I wouldn't go as far as to give him a 7, right? I'd give him probably for the assist as well. I'd give him a 6.
For me, right, it's hard to give any of our midfielders good scores because I thought we were just crap in midfield today. We just got outdone by theirs. We did. I think, again, with regards to the assist, you can say, yeah, okay, he gets an extra point for that because it was sublime, right? It was a fantastic pass. But other than that,
Avram Grant Slipper here is one of the reasons. He did run around a lot. He did show heart. He was trying to G the crowd up. It looked like it meant something to him, right? So for that alone, and I don't think anyone else in midfield is going to get that score off me, to be honest.
So what are you giving him?
I'll give him a 6, but that's including the assist. It would have been a 5, but the assist gets him to a 6. Yeah. So
I'll take potato salad then in that case.
I don't think he was responsible for any of the goals. Put it like
who?
that.
Soler? No, he wasn't. I mean, Paqueta definitely was, but I'll take potato salad himself.
Go on.
Yeah, poor game again. I thought it was not again. Well, he's been all right recently, but I thought it was a poor game for him today. He's passing. Actually, funnily enough, right, there were a few passes that he played today. I was like, actually, I didn't even know he had that in his locker. He sprayed one pass, which was about 40 or 50 yard pass. I was like, well, I didn't know he could do that. But it's like the short passes that he fucks up on, right?
Yeah, the one that he passed straight out of play after that lovely little triangle move, yeah.
Exactly. And I thought he was. I didn't think he was very good at all today. Thomas Souček. I'll give him a 5, and that's being bloody kind. I mean, that's being really kind.
Yeah, I'd probably give him a 4 because I think what happens is there's 2 different ways you can use Souček. One is like we used him the other night, which is to run around a lot, block plays, and to be a box crasher. He can do that role really well, but as soon as you asked him to defend deep as part of a system that's working in tight little situations, he just cannot do it. He cannot work in tight situations. So he panics and he plays rash passes. He can pass the ball, but not under pressure. Can never play it under pressure. So, yeah, I thought he was terrible. And I think the biggest culprit of why we were terrible today, because he got just found out, was Lucas Paqueta. Lucas Paqueta just did so much wrong. Number one, he's sometimes, especially in a goal scoring situation where it's dangerous, like with one of their set pieces, you don't go down in that situation, right? You don't. There wasn't enough there to go down. He's a big, strong lad. He doesn't need to go down. Yes, he took a push. So what? fucking stay on your feet and defend it, because it's against Arsenal. More than likely, you're not going to get given the decision. So know you play for West Ham. Stand and do your fucking job, right? Occupy space you're supposed to. And also, what we've been moaning about him all year came true again. He gave the ball away in midfield, led to a goal.
Do you know, right? So Paqueta, it's a funny one, right? Because yes, he's at fault for 3 of the goals.
Yeah.
But okay, he's at fault for the penalty, absolutely. I think obviously the first goal near post, he got pushed, like shoved out of the way too easily as well.
Yeah.
And obviously lost the ball in midfield. But aside from that, there were also I can't even believe I'm saying this actually, but he was showing a lot of desire today as well, Gal. Paqueta. He was.
Well,
Right?
I'd say he put the effort in. I'd say
he did put the effort in. Yeah. He weren't good, I granted, but he definitely put effort in. And this is the one thing which is funny about Paqueta is that he was very good against Newcastle. Arguably, you could say he was back to the levels that we would like to think he should be playing on a more consistent basis. Yeah. Today, I do honestly believe that he was putting that effort in, but he just had a bad day at the office, right, with the 3 goals. He did. But he was definitely putting effort in. I can't fault him for that. And I could see that he was chasing back. You know, I mean, there was a few occasions when he was dropping back into left back, and I think in the first 5 minutes, you know, I think he took out Saka, and I was like, yeah, I like that. But so he was definitely putting the effort in today. It was just a bad day at the office.
Right. So if you were to mark him on effort alone, what would you give him?
I think on effort, I'd probably give him a 6 or a 7 on effort. But in terms of performance, you've got to drop him right back down, because sadly that effort didn't transpire into him playing well because of the three missed opportunities. But the 3 opportunities he basically gave Arsenal. But again, I would give him a 1. I wouldn't give him a 1.
I think if we give him a 6 for effort, then you've got to take away 3 for costing us 3 goals. And
I get that.
3.
It's about context, Scale, right? It's about context to say, right, we know Paqueta's not playing at the levels, but he is putting in the effort. And you can definitely say that if you look over the course of the last 10 games or so, that effort has not necessarily been there. But I think for the last couple of games, last 3 games, in fact, because he did it against Everton as well.
Yeah.
He's definitely putting the effort in now. He just needs to cut out these stupid fucking mistakes that he's doing all the time, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. So yeah, let's move on. Who we got next? Somerville.
Oh, well, I mean, I'd mark Paqueta. You can do Somerville, mate.
Yeah, Somerville. I thought he did okay in the first half. I've got to be honest. I thought the Arsenal defenders didn't enjoy the little wasp running at him. He didn't cause too much trouble, but it was a great finish, even though he should have held his run. Maybe I haven't seen the replay, but it was
How far off was he? How far off was he? Because I haven't seen any of the replays.
I don't know if someone in the chat can tell us how far off was Somerville. How far offside was it? Was it narrow? Was it marginal? I don't know, but I really like his enthusiasm, and I was a little bit gutted, I must admit, seeing him taken off at half time. But if he wasn't doing a defensive part of his duties, then I understand why. So on that basis, I can't give him any more than probably a 5, I guess. I give him a 5.
I think it's a shame when you take off an attacking player, right? You go into the second half, it's almost like you're resigned to the fact that
you're setting your stall out.
You are
that old saying, right? You're saying I'm settling. Yeah. The damage limitation that second half.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, mate.
Yeah. Oh, Herpy says I think it was narrow, but I could see he was off. Right, okay. So level 5 shouldn't have been taken off. Yeah, I didn't think so. I was a bit gutted. Yard off, half a foot offside, a body width offside. That ain't far, is it? It was a great finish. Really,
it
great.
was. Yeah, it was, mate.
So,
Bowen, captain.
Bowen, the captain, I thought he tried hard. He always tries hard. He had a few early runs, and I thought he done quite well as a captain, as a leader. I don't think he did what he did the other day and took the team with him.
Yeah, for me, chalk and cheese in comparison to the game against Newcastle. I don't think it was a good day for him either.
He was hyped up the other night, and so were all the team. They knew that shit had to happen. To me today, I think they lost this game before they stepped onto the pitch, and they were basically, if you look at the timing of the substitutions, Lopetegui took players off to rest them for Tuesday. It's also disappointing, right? It's also disappointing. We just conceded this game. So I'd partly blame Bowen for that. I'd give him I think 4 is probably a good score. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. He didn't really offer anything today, did he? So yeah, 4 for me.
He always
Yeah.
tries hard. That's a minimum level for Bowen. He always tries hard, and I love the man. Right? Antonio.
Oh, he was shocking, weren't he, today? I thought he was awful.
Awful, bloody awful. I mean, it was
Yeah.
like he was trying to save himself for the second half. He didn't want to run. It was the other night. You remember, he was dropping back from forward to
He's
take
brilliant.
out midfielders.
Yeah.
He was amazing. Now it's clear that he hasn't got that in his body to recover and do that. That was Monday though. This is Saturday. That's
See,
like
okay, right.
5 days ago, right?
Yeah, again, right. So let's have a bit of context around Antonio. He's playing up against a better defence, right, against Arsenal than he is against Newcastle, right? He's playing essentially against a better midfield and a defence, right? So it's going to be a tougher day for him, right? But that being said, I cannot genuinely think of a single moment today where I think, oh yeah, Antonio was part of that. I like, you know, anything. There was nothing positive from him until today.
He had a shot goal second half that went wide.
I don't even remember that, Gal. Honestly, I don't even remember that. But I thought he was. Oh yeah, no, I do now. Yeah, I do actually. I do remember that. But apart from that, I mean, he was crap. He was awful today, mate. Absolutely awful.
And this can't go on for long. He's 35 next month. 35. We've got a 35-year-old striker in our.
It's going to keep going for as long as we don't sign a fucking striker, Gal. It's going to continue.
I know. Or we keep signing lemons, maybe.
Yeah.
Antonio needs dropping and Ings needs to start. I don't think so, mate. Ings was just as ineffective when he came on. I got to say. I don't think there was an improvement there. When you're playing, like Chris said, when you're playing against a decent defence, you know, then Antonio is going to be ineffective, but then Ings is as well, right? He is. Had one shot and put on the left wing. He was, yeah. Mr. Gary, it's going to keep that West Ham channel. Yeah. Cheers. I'm not an Antonio fan, but today was not his fault.
Not saying it's his fault.
No. It was all of the players' fault today. Let's face it. It was all of the players' fault. It was bad, right? It was bad. Agree that Mickey was fighting a losing battle. Yeah, he was. Look, I'm depressed with this. I can't do this anymore. We're 1 out of 15 in. It was so disappointing today, and I can't really find the words to say how embarrassing and how poor that was after being given hope on Monday night. Having that rug pulled from under us today in such a bad way. I mean, that was just fucking welcome back to hell, you know? It's like, sorry, we missed you. Sorry, we've been away for a day. Come back, same as it was before we played against Newcastle.
Yeah.
Exactly the same. This is the same as the Chelsea game, the Man City game, the Villa game. We've done this against all half-decent teams. And Arsenal comes to town off the back of a 5-1 win against Sporting, playing their best football of the season. What else did we expect, really? Other than for us to just lay down and go, there you go, help yourself.
Do you know what, Gal, right? Let's try and end this on a bit of a positive note, okay?
Yeah.
We played, for me, was arguably the best team that we've played in the league this season, okay? Yes, we didn't turn up. Yes, we allowed them to play and allowed them to beat us, essentially. But it was the better team that we played this season for sure, okay? So we saw this, and we did see Newcastle was 2 games where we weren't really probably going to get anything out of it. But actually, we got 3 points. So let's put this game behind us. And for me now, we just focus firmly on the Leicester and the Wolves game because those games are the pivotal ones. Now, if we come out of Leicester and Wolves with fuck all points, then we've got a serious, serious problem on our hands. And at that point, Lopetegui has to go. I'm sorry, he has to go.
Completely.
All eyes for me on Leicester all eyes on Leicester for me on Tuesday, Gal.
These games, they are both must wins, both of them. Right.
Well, mate, minimum of 4 points, Gal. Minimum 4 points over those 2 games because Leicester got spanked today. Wolves, I don't know. Did Wolves lose today as well? I don't know the other results. Did Wolves lose today as well?
Yeah, we'll say that tomorrow, Randy.
Yeah, Wolves lost 4-2 today to Bournemouth. Yeah.
Oh, Bournemouth are good though. Bournemouth are good, right?
Yeah, but you know, but Wolves have been on a decent run recently. So Wolves lost 4-2 and Leicester lost 4-1 to Brentford today. So hopefully we're going to be playing both of those teams at a time where actually then, well, they're clearly not in form now. So you know what? These 2 games are massive for us, Gal. Massive. I'll be up there at Leicester on Tuesday and pining all my hopes to making sure we can get 3 points. Because if we don't, I'm going to be really worried. I'm going to be very, very worried if we don't get 3 points off of Leicester.
You know what? I was so surprised the other day that winning that game at Newcastle, it just cheered me up all week. You know that? It really did. And now
there's nothing to sing about this season, Gal. This is the thing. And you know, a lot of fans, calm down. Why should we calm down, right? We go to so many games And we've had absolutely nothing. That's the first game this season where we had 90 minutes where we can say, do you know, it's a proper team performance. So I don't regret being pumped up, you know, after that game at all. You know, we deserved that win. We got it. So you just got to kind of cheer and celebrate when you get these wins, mate. We've not had enough of them this season.
No, I totally agree. And we're not even going to talk about the substitutes either. It's no point in this, right? So let's no, you're right. You're right. We deserve a little bit more pleasure than this, don't we? A little bit more regular pleasure. It's not much to ask for supporting a bloody Premier League team, is it?
Mate, I think we need it, mate.
Yeah,
we need it. We work bloody hard all week. All we hope for at the weekend is we turn up to London Stadium. Is a good performance, mate. That's what we want.
Yeah, I know. But look, I think we're done. We'll come back and talk about Leicester before you go up there. And then no doubt we'll hear from you while you're up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. 4 points from the next 3 games. Anything less than that is totally unacceptable. Anything less than that, he's got to go.
Yep.
End of story.
Couldn't agree more with you. But I'm like I said, I want to end this on a positive note. We got 3 points that we didn't expect to get over these 2 games.
Yeah,
so imagine we got 2 draws. Everyone would be happy with that.
Enough. That is.
Yeah, but they would have been happy with it. If you'd have got no. I'm talking about Arsenal and Newcastle. If we got draw against, Newcastle and a draw against Arsenal,
we'd have been delighted. We'd have been delighted.
Yeah, so maybe we're actually in a better position than what we thought we would be, which actually we are.
Stop stealing fucking positives from the jaws of negatives.
I'm trying to, Gal. You know what it's like, mate. When we do these things, right, it does come. It's kind of like a cathartic thing. We try and come away and feel a bit better about it. And I'm not feeling better about it at the moment. It's been sheer negativity from today. But I really want to kind of, I don't know, basically have a bit of a glimmer of hope going into the Leicester game, right? We really do. So I'm really hopeful that we'll get something out of that game. But if we don't, like I say, it's going to concern me. But I'm just going to try and have a bit of positivity for Tuesday night, mate, because...
Well, you are going, so I understand it. I've got to sit and watch it on telly. Andy Armin, this is a final comment I'm putting up. Thank you for all your lovely comments, people. Much appreciated. Andy Armin says, can we have a banning order on Anthony Taylor refereeing our games?
Do you know, right, just quickly on that comment, Arsenal, right, they do not like Anthony Taylor because he's been a bit of a bad omen for them for many games, right? Even my boy told me. But today... he was their 12th man and the linesman as well.
But when someone like Arsenal doesn't like a referee, it's because they happen to give them one decision against them or something, right?
Well, with us, he gave them a lot to say, mate.
90 minutes of decisions go against us, and they keep going against us. And someone like him, when they're running the clock down in the second half, which they clearly were, he's blowing up every 2 seconds, stopping the game. And that is exactly the game plan. It's what they wanted, right? It's what they wanted.
Yeah. But do you know what? Fucking scored a referee. He was fucking awful today, and the linesman as well, Gal. Awful. I mean, seriously, there were certain moments where it was clearly our throw, but yet it was going the other way. I just don't even know what the linesman was doing, to be honest with you. It was bloody awful.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, that is it. We're done. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Cheers, Chris. You can eat the rest of your pizza now.
Mate, I'm fucking done now, mate. It's been
cold pizza's fine, Chris. Eat it. Come on.
Do you know what?
Microwave. Get it in the microwave.
Mate. It's probably. It looks as bad as your dirty hot dog that you had today. To be honest with you,
your standards are far too high, right? Your standards.
What about, mate? You're moaning about a hot dog at the start of this. What are you talking about?
So, SN, off your fuck, mate. Right. Anyway, cold pizza, and also if you have a curry at night and you get up in the morning and there's a bit of curry, it's nice for breakfast. What?
I just want to go to bed, mate. Today's just been a fucking write-off for me. I've had enough.
Tell you what, I'll open your eyes, have some cold pizza, then go to bed. Open your mind, broaden your mind, broaden your horizons to something new. You know what I mean?
I think you should go and make yourself a nice hot dog, Gal, just to make up for the dodgy one you had earlier on today.
It's put me off of fucking hot dogs. It really has put me off forever. Anyway, look, here we go. Roll on Tuesday. Leicester away. See you soon. Come on, you irons.
Come on, you irons.